I'd like to say hello to my friend Lee Jegson. This blooper reel is very egg-centric.
Yeah.
That works twice.
This is very egg-gracious. I don't know.
Nice. Good afternoon, Facebook land.
Hi.
It's Chris and Carolyn and Lee. Lee, her personal self is out partying this weekend on vacation. So we have her likeness, her incredibly accurate likeness here with us, lest she be forgotten. So send your thoughts out to Lee. Anyway, had a lot going on this week, a lot of stuff. There were bills, there was also a virus. So we'll get to both of those. I'm going to do the House real quick this week, then Carolyn will do the Senate, then we'll talk about next week. So important bills in House education this week. It was on Monday. We're now into the second hearing, so you've heard about these before. Senate Bill 1146, the seizure management bill. We cleaned that up a little bit, so it's relatively non-burdensome for school districts. If you have pupils who have chronic seizure management, chronic seizure conditions, their parents can give you a plan to outline how the pupil should be cared for if they have a seizure while they're at school. Pretty straightforward. It does require some video training for staff at the school right now. The other one, we're neutral on it. It's got some good, it's got some bad. Senate Bill 1356, which is raising the passing score on the required civics test from 60 to 70 questions. We are not thrilled about that because we don't support the civics test mandate anyway, but it does also allow the test to be taken in 8th grade, so it's more chances for the student to pass it, a longer time for them to pass it, and if they can get it out of the way in 8th grade, which most 8th graders fresh off 8th grade social studies should be able to pass it, then they can pass it and get on with it. So that's a good thing. Senate education was on Tuesday. Carolyn's going to tell you about the bills that were in there.
Yes, I have a couple of bills that we're going to highlight today. House Bill 2626, which appropriates $1 million to gifted pupils, and it allows them to get additional funding. And we do support that bill. And then we also wanted to highlight House Bill 2678, which allows governing boards to change their members from 5 members to 3 members without a general election. So with that one, we are neutral on, and we're going to keep on monitoring.
Yeah, that one, just to be clear, that one, it requires an election to change it from 3 to 5, or from 5 to 3 rather. So don't love to see governing boards reduced in size, obviously, but if the voters want to do it, then they can do it. Just we don't want the legislature to be able to arbitrarily reduce that number. So thank you, Carolyn. Really quick on the House, next week coming up, a little bit of a different week in the legislature next week. We'll get to that in a second, but Senate Bill 1357 about instructional materials is up. We are neutral on the bill as it came out of the Senate. We did have some concern about the definition of instructional materials being broader than what is used in the classroom or what is shown to students specifically. Senator Allen was gracious enough to allow or to agree to an amendment to sort of tighten that up a little bit, so we appreciate that. We're still neutral on that one. 1403 is noticed as a striker. The strike everything amendment is going to have a change to the apportionment schedule, which will return the apportionment schedule for state aid to 12 equal monthly payments, which we're okay with. It also conforms the definition of a self-contained classroom to a federal definition. So if you are, or a resource classroom, one of the two, I don't have the bill in front of me. But anyway, it makes it so that the definition is more flexible for school districts that have a large percentage of special needs students in a classroom. And then finally, on the House side, Senate Bill 1491 is a cleanup from last year's dyslexia screening bill. It will appropriate some money to ADE and also make some changes to the screener mandate so that they can be included in the other K-3 literacy assessments that districts already have to do. We support that one. Really quick on the Senate side, House Bill 2367, not as big of a deal anymore. It changes the residency requirements, the residency documentation requirements from being the responsibility of ADE to the State Board of Education. Not much of a change. We don't see a need for the bill, but it's not the end of the world. 2648 has to do with special education alternative testing. It would require districts to provide some information to parents whose students don't qualify for the 1% exemption but are still special needs, to be told that the federal government requires their student to be tested. And then finally, House Bill 2741 is fourth year CTED funding. We support that bill. Now, those are the bills. Also this week, COVID-19 was in the news big time. Wanted to give you an update on that, where the state's at. We had a conference call yesterday with the governor's office, the Department of Health Services, and the Department of Education. Not a big deal for ASBA. It was a larger conference call. There were many superintendents on it as well and other members of the public and media, but wanted to share some information. You probably heard that there are some school districts that are closing, at least here in the Valley. That is the district's decision. The state has not requested any school districts to close, nor has any county health department that we're aware of. They're not recommending district closures, but obviously it has happened in a few places. So if we hear anything else about that from the state level, we'll let you know. Finally, the Department of Education, U.S. Department of Education, has been putting out guidance on things like school lunch, school meal programs, special education, FERPA, stuff like that. So in your weekly Friday email that you get, your weekly Friday email that you get from us, we will provide some links to those resources. And we are having a webinar here at ASBA in conjunction with the State Department of Education on Tuesday at 2 p.m. The link to that is on our website, on our COVID-19 resource page, which is accessible from the front page of azsba.org. So if you need information, we are going to try to get it to you as many ways as possible. The legislature is closing the public galleries and things like that to the public on Monday. And we just received word today that Monday's House Education Committee will be closed to the public as well. We've been in contact with members of the legislature about our positions on bills, and we will be providing written testimony as requested by the chair of the committee. So it's getting kind of weird, not business as usual, but we will keep you all informed about any developments with regard to the state and school closures as they come up. So as of right now, everything is copacetic in terms of what the state would like us to do, and we'll pass that along. So hopefully we'll see a lot of you on Tuesday at 2 p.m. Otherwise, try to have a good weekend. Wash your hands. Don't touch your face. And
Hydrate yourself.
Hydrate yourself. There you go. All right. Thank you very much. Thanks for watching. Have a good weekend. See you later.